there's been some pretty big news in the Supreme Court that's happened the last couple days. I'll get into that in a minute. But first, here in Michigan, the House doesn't represent or respect the Constitution. They just passed a bill, and it still has to go to the Senate. And if it goes to the Senate, Gretchen Whitmer, she'll definitely pass it and sign it off. But if you basically intentionally use somebody's wrong pronouns and make them feel threatened, you can get a felony and a $10,000 fine, possibly 5 years in prison. So we're getting to that point. You know, when I lived here in 2016, we voted for Trump. This was a red state. Now, this is a woke state. This is crazy. I can't believe that this has turned into a far leftist state. This is supposed to be like a swing state. And in this state, most people are in the rural areas are conservative, freedom-minded, constitutional type of folks. But apparently there's a lot of people who are brainwashed, or maybe they moved from California to here, that buy into all this woke crap. I think so what'll happen is somebody will get slapped with the felony. They'll appeal it, and it'll probably go to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will say this is unconstitutional. I don't know what's going to happen, because this is a state's rights. I mean, the state can just ignore them. I don't know, but this is like something that California would do, and it's here in Michigan. To send somebody to prison for hurting somebody's feelings, you know, and how do you prove that they maliciously tried to hurt somebody's, you know, tried to use somebody's pronouns? What if it was an accident? What happens if I'm pronoun fluent and my pronouns change daily, just like somebody's gender? And like, how do you prove this unless it's on the internet or on camera? Well, with deepfakes coming, and deepfakes already here, you can't even really trust video at this point, or audio either, really. But what this is control, authoritarianism. That's what this is. Yeah, if this passed before I moved here, I'm not sure I would have moved here. Like, I didn't know this state was this far to the left. I thought maybe it was a swing state. I could throw some influence, the little influence I do have, which is hardly anything, but, you know, showing that, you know, just talking to regular people, or people seeing me, or whatever. But that's crazy that this state is just like what, and it's crazy because like this state is a bunch of hardworking people. That's what it's known for: hard work, living in reality, nose to the grindstone, not backing down. But it's flipped apparently. So I you know, it hasn't passed right now, but the thought that they're trying to pass it is kind of, it's pretty frightening, especially, and I haven't heard of any other state trying to do this yet, and sounds like we're one of the first trying to give people felonies for hurt feelings. But yeah, that's very troubling. There's a couple rulings that the Supreme Court came down with the last couple of days. I've been extremely busy. I haven't really had the time to talk about it, but I think they did some really good. The first one is affirmative action, and I see the left like freaking out because they're racist. You know, my opinion on people who are, like they say, people are black and brown, they need help basically. And I think that black people, brown people are highly intelligent, and I think that they don't need help to excel. That's my opinion. They don't need a crutch. But apparently the left thinks they're not as intelligent as whites and Asians, and they need some type of help, where there's like a quota. Like the affirmative action is basically in college, you know, as a white person, to get in that college, you probably have to have like a 3.8 or something like that. And then somebody who isn't a white or Asian will probably have to have like a 3.5. So it's like lowering the standard because of how somebody looks. And I think that that's bigoted and racist to think that they're not as intelligent to get a 3.8. Also, the student debt relief, the Supreme Court said that the Biden and the Democrats can't do that because it is unfair. It's unfair to people who've already paid their student loan debt off. It's unfair to people like me who haven't attended college, and then I have to foot the bill for somebody else's choices. Not to mention, these people are supposedly educated and highly intelligent. And like, if they're somewhat educated and highly intelligent, then why can't they think of a way to get out of their student loan debt? You know, I'm on Twitter, and people call me uneducated all the time, like talking down to me like I'm stupid. But if these people who went to college, who are so educated, you know, why aren't they smart enough to figure out a way to make a ton of money to get out of their student loan debt? You know, it's unfortunate. I think it's a sad thing that the youth has been lied to and told go to college if, you know, take on this student loan debt. And that's something to me, like if you're gonna go to college, you go for something worthwhile, something hard, something you think that the job's gonna be. They're not just like, oh, I'm gonna go for this arts degree or this woman's studies or whatever. Like for me, the reason I was told to go to college, and nobody could pay for my college. I wasn't privileged enough to have my college paid for, so I would have to take on student loan debt. I just never had confidence in myself to know that I would excel in college, because I was bored in regular school. I didn't like regular school. I didn't like how the whole thing was set up. I thought that I would just be wasting my time and money. And plus, I still, at this point in my life, I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life. So to go on for something like that, to invest so much of myself, so much of my time, and so much of my money, which is time, into something like that, which I don't even know what I want to do. Still to this day, like, I have so many different interests. Just to label it, just this is going to be my major, I'm going to go for this, like, I didn't like that, so I decided not to go to college. And then nowadays, translate to today, because this is 25 years later, you know, we don't know what jobs are going to be replaced by AI, and I think that a lot of office jobs are going to be replaced. Obviously, my job's being replaced. There's a lot of physical jobs that's going to be replaced by robots, but AI is so intelligent. It's progressed so quickly, and it's going to progress quicker than people realize, that a lot of the jobs that they think that are safe aren't going to be there anymore. The jobs that they have are going to be basically going to be gone, because you ain't going to need a person to do them, because you're going to have AI to do them. So yeah, a lot of these kids have been replaced. A lot of these kids have been lied to about college, and it's unfortunate that they took on this debt, but like I said, if they're so smart, they should be able to get out of it. So that's a good thing that the Supreme Court did, because, like, if you're gonna, you know, I'm not for bailouts, and I think this whole notion of the left, are like, well, this person got bailed out, so this person, it's like, then when did the bailout stop? Because, like, if you're gonna bail that out, you're gonna bail the college people out, you're gonna bail the banks out, you're gonna bail, I mean, whoever out. What about my debt? What about my car debt? Are you gonna pay my car debt off? Are you gonna pay my my credit card debt off? Like, where does it stop? And if they're gonna get like $10,000 paid off, why can't I get a free $10,000 to go pursue something I want to do? It's just not fair. And then possibly these people who acquire this degree, who do something smart, they get a good job. That's a good paying job. It's upper class welfare. You know, that's what bailouts are. It's just welfare. So it's a good thing the Supreme Court took this one down, and the left are just melting down right and left over this. And I want people to understand what'll happen if it's the left takes charge in 2024. What'll happen is they're gonna pack the courts. They're gonna undo everything. They're gonna undo. That'll be the last election. There won't be no more elections. Don't be surprised if they do round up people like me and try to throw me into camps. I mean, why would I think less of these people? I mean, if they're gonna throw me in prison for using somebody's wrong pronouns, why wouldn't they just throw me in prison because I have a different view than them? I mean, look at the way they're treating Trump. Look at the way that they're weaponizing the justice system. Everything's coming at him at once because he's running for president. I guarantee you, if Trump wasn't running for president, if he just like went off to the sunset and said, nah, I bet you they would not be coming out with all this. But they're doing that because they want to silence him. They want to paint a bad picture in the public for him, and they don't want people to vote for him. And essentially, they want his name off the ballot. And they want, if they're gonna have somebody in there, they would rather have somebody like a DeSantis that's a controlled opposition. I'm not a big fan of DeSantis. I like some of the stuff he does, but I kind of look at him like a unipartyist. That's the vibe I get off of him. So yeah, there's a lot of, it's gonna get wild. It's going to get more wild. It's going to get more crazy. When they pack the courts, they're going to make it so they have complete power, complete control. Nothing will matter. It'll turn into a dictatorship. Communism will take over. But there will be a revolt. And I'm not advocating for this, but there will be a violent revolt, because there always is. If you just look at history and you look at this type of what's happened in the past, this type of abrupt leadership that just takes control and has a rapid change in society like they're trying to push, it's not gonna last, and people will get pissed. Especially if they like come to red states, and they definitely try to take people's kids. So it's gonna be bad. I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, that's gonna happen, and there's gonna be some type of revolution, some type of civil war, and it probably won't end well for these people. So yeah.